welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session, we're going to be covering Employee Navigator. So this is one of our guided learning experiences, hands-on workshops. And joining me today is Marta. She will do her formal introduction very shortly, but just a couple of reminders. There is the Q&A section of Zoom, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions during the session, please put them in there, and the team that's supporting her today, her colleagues, will be answering those questions as we go along. And then at the end, we should have roughly around 15 to 20 minutes where we will take questions live. Until that time, you will remain muted, but do still make it interactive and put your questions in the Q&A. So without further ado, Marta, I know we've got a lot to cover, so I'm going to now hand over to you to get us started. Over to you.
So hello, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I am very happy to be here to present this workshop about Employee Navigator configuration in 25.4. My name is Marta Zamorano, and I am part of the Helix Adoption Advisory Team at BMC Helix. In this team, we help the customers on adopting new features in the new modules in the different release. I am based in Spain, so it's a little soon here, but happy to attend to this call and be the presenter. Today, we will go through the Employee Navigator configuration step by step. So after this session, your Employee Navigator will be working in your environment. This configuration is for 25.4, based in agents. There are like two possibilities of configuration, based in prompts that was available in previous release, or based in agents. Now in this release, we have both of them, but we will go through the configuration based in agents. That is a BMC recommendation. So let's move to the agenda. This is the agenda. Prerequisite review to ensure that your environment complies with all the technical requirements. Then we will see the Employee Navigator overview, explaining the key capabilities, configuration items required for Employee Navigator configuration. Then we move to the configuration demo, where I will go through it in the demo environment. After that, we will do use cases to show how the solution is working. And we will have a dedicated Q&A section to address all the pending questions. As Sam was explaining at the beginning, I want to highlight these two because there is a group of panelists here, so answering your Q&A in any moment. So you can ask in any moment your questions. After this session, you will have your environment configured and working for Employee Navigator. Before we dive into the configuration, let's do a quick review of the technical requirements. The first requirement is to ensure that Service Management ITSM is running under release 25.4 or higher for the configuration based in agents. If your configuration is prompt-based, you can use 25.2 and beyond, okay? But our configuration, as it's in agents, we need 25.4. If your current release is older than this, you need to request an upgrade before this configuration. About roles and permissions, you will need admin permission for Innovation Suite and Digital Workplace to do these configurations. Your LLM subscription, you will need a subscription to one of the following providers: Azure OpenAI 4.1, Google Vertex Gemini 2.5, sorry. It's paramount that during this setup, you have the API endpoint URL, API key, and deployment name from your LLM connection for the configuration. For Employee Navigator, it's very important to have a good knowledge base. So our agent can give information from the knowledge articles. If the end users want to raise a case with Employee Navigator, it is needed that the services have been defined on Digital Workplace Catalog. Is not imported from the old configuration of SRM, Service Request Management. This is not supported. So all our catalog should be in the digital workplace catalog. That is the requirements. Helix GPT Employee Navigator simplifies and accelerates your communication with the end users. It simplifies the user's interactions with the system. The problem before Employee Navigator is that the users need to move faster and access services in a simpler way. If our catalog is complex, users are struggling to find what they need. Configuring Employee Navigator, the users can get the following outcomes: ease of opening a request in a simple way, whether from a PC, a laptop, or a mobile device. Provide better support with user guides, reports, or by suggesting the best way to proceed. Become more autonomous when searching for solutions. So this is like a diagram, a schema from Employee Navigator, the things that we can do from here. One is raise request in digital workplace. Agent will go question by question in the request for the end users to fill out what it is needed in natural language. Find your documentation, that is your knowledge articles. So there are like different sources. We will cover this later about the different sources. Agents, we will do a summary of the information and we'll offer the links to read the completed documentation. If you don't find the answer, then you can connect to a live agent. Then we can do questions about your IT or business workflow requests. About this type of examples are: show my open request, show request pending my approval, add a comment to the request or cancel, show information about a location or a user, show service health, show my list of open tasks to do in business workflow. We will see all of these when we do the configuration, and then we have to test it. Before I go to the configuration process, it is needed to understand the foundational system components that will be either created or updated. The first step is to set up the connection to your AI service provider. Although the models are predefined in the system through the out-of-the-box implementation, we must update or create a copy and then do the configuration to establish this connection. This allows GPT to successfully communicate with your LLM. If you are already using different agents and your LLM is already configured, you can use this previous configuration. So you don't need to do this step again because you are using another agents that is the same connections for this one. Once that initial connection is established, the rest of the configuration involves create a few other core components. 3 agents, that is catalog request agent, live chat agent, and employee navigator supervisor agent. And then we need to configure one skill, that is Employee Navigator for Helix. The skill is linking the supervisor agent to the application of digital workplace. So I will show how to link this to the digital workplace homepage using Digital Workplace Studio. To understand the Employee Navigator and the process what I was talking about in the previous slide, it is important to note that in this slide, okay, the components that are in red color are pre-configured out of the box. And we are not going to modify. So everything that is in red color, we are not going to modify. The blue and the purple are the ones that we are going to configure in these workshops. Here is the explanation of the workflow. So it is necessary to establish the technical connection to your Employee Navigator supervisor by selecting 5 different toolkit type or tool types. And then we have the toolkit type. Then we have the toolkit instance, okay? The first one is the toolkit type. Then we create the toolkit instance, and we need 5 of them: knowledge retriever tool, digital workplace profile search, fallback tool, digital workplace event tool, and digital workplace service health tool. As I said, this is out of the box and we don't need to modify. We only use that. Then we have the agent types. So we have the catalog request agent type, live chat agent type, and supervisor agent type. These agent types are like the blueprints that dictate the specific functions and behavior of the deployed agents. Then we deployed the specific AI agents. We need to create the deployed instance for catalog request agent, live chat agent, and employee navigator supervisor agent, the 3 blue that we have here. Finally, we create the employee navigator for Helix skill. The skill is the routing logic that brings everything together and connects to the digital workplace. It is assigned to the employee navigator supervisor agent. By following this architectural order, remember always toolkit type, toolkit, agent type, agent, skill, we ensure that the final conversational agent is completely configured with all the necessary capabilities to ask your request in Employee Navigator. Other points to highlight more in detail is data source and data ingestion. First, we look at the data source configuration. On the left, you can see the data source that we support. The items in bold letter that are Helix Knowledge Management by Comer Round, Helix ITSM Knowledge Management, and Helix Business Workflow are our out-of-the-box integrations. Beyond this, we support different types of source like Confluence, SharePoint, a list of other systems that we can integrate for the knowledge articles. Once the connection is established, all published documentation is automatically indexed by a scheduled job from this source into BMC Helix GPT. Before starting, I would like to clarify about CD data. That is very important. We call CD data to those configurations that are out of the box. CD data are created by BMC in all the agents, and it is not allowed to modify. That is a general statement for all the agents, not only for Employee Navigator, this is for all the agents. So in case that you need to do a modification in the items, like the model, agent, skill that we are going to do today, the process is to create a copy of the CD data and doing the modifications over this custom data. So if you don't do that, you can have any issues in the upgrades. So that is strongly recommended to do like that. When after the configuration and all the steps are completed, users can access to the tool directly within their digital workplace environment. So to access here, they need to go to the Helix portal, digital workplace, and access to one of the different links created for Employee Navigator. I will show how to do the links in the configuration demo. The user interface is designed for natural language interaction. Users type the prompt there, and Employee Navigator generates the different outputs automatically. Some examples that we can see in the screen, and this is what we are going to test: how to configure VPN, that is reading from my knowledge articles, request software installation, to request something from the catalog, show my open request, connect to a live agent or chat, show information about the user set, for example. Integration with Employee Navigator within Employee Navigator in Digital Workplace. When we create a skill in Employee Navigator, this can be integrated in our homepage in Digital Workplace through different points in different places. The number one, here it is. This is the chat icon. Well, the configuration in this chat, we can click here in the number one in the chat icon and then open Employee Navigator. Or the second one, we can put a link here on the top bar. You see on the top bar, and number two, Employee Navigator for Helix, open in this link and open from the menu. The third way that we can integrate Employee Navigator is in the general search bar, number three. From here, we can click on the search bar and then going directly to Employee Navigator. And the last one is creating a button. The button can be here or here on the screen, whatever we want. In the button, we can link with Employee Navigator. You can use one of them, two of them, or all of them, depending what you want to configure in your environment. So that has been the overview of the prerequisites and the foundational architecture. Now it's time to go to the environment and make the configurations. We are moving into a demo environment for a step-by-step configuration. During this configuration demo, I will break down every step, guiding you through the screens and specifying which values to insert for your model, for your agents, and for your skill. The goal of this session is for you to configure these same steps in your own environment. Our final goal is to ensure that you finish this session today with Employee Navigator agent completely ready to be used. Go to the environment now. Here it is, the environment. Okay. So we are starting. I open the Helix portal, and then the first place to go is Innovation Suite, Helix Innovation Suite. We are going to the application that is our application for GPT. It's Helix GPT Agent Studio. Clicking here. In this part, we have the records views process, but we are going directly to the application. Visit deployed application on the right part of the screen. And the first step that we are going to configure is the model. So here on the top, we have the settings, the gear. Clicking here, Helix GPT, connections, and then we have AI service providers. So in the service providers, you will see a lot out of the box, depending on the one that you want to use. For Google Vertex, for OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, okay? But we are not going to configure the one that is out of the box, adding the URL or the API key. No, the reason is that we need to add a new one and then copy from the out of the box, all the values, and then fill out the others that are coming from my LLM. And then we test that, and we put a specific name. In my case, I've created this one, and I am going to explain what it is needed to write here. So if you follow the other one out of the box like a template, you will have the vendor. In this case, is Azure OpenAI. You will have the authentication type API key and the version we need to fill out. Well, about the name you can write everything you want. It's something that defines your LLM that you are going to use during the other configuration. In my case, I write BMC H from BMC Helix GPT 4.1. But here you can write the name that you want, preferred by you. Then the version, be careful on that because it is not the version of the LLM. This is the version of the API LLM that is different. So in the BMC official documentation, you will see the version of all APIs, and you can use the one that is for you, for your model. In this case, for Azure OpenAI, this is the version that we are using 2024, then the line and 10 and line and 21. Okay, so if you are using Azure OpenAI 4.1, this is your version. Then you need to bring your API endpoint URL and your API key to fill out here. And then the default configuration. You can use all of these, same configuration that I have here. That is the standard one. Be careful only with the first one, deployment name, GPT 4.1. This is a name that should come from your LLM. So that is the only that it should come from your LLM. For the others, there is a standard configuration that you can use. Good. When we have all of this model, we need to click on test connection. And then you see here on the top connection successful. As I was saying during the presentation, this is okay. This is what we need to use. But if you have already using in another agents before that you have already configured, you don't need to do that. You can use the previous one that is working. So the second steps that we are going to do today is from here, from the same screen, is information source. As you know, in Employee Navigator, we need to read the knowledge articles. Knowledge articles can come from different data sources. Business workflow connections, if I have knowledge articles in business workflow, or Helix knowledge management by come around if I am using this module from BMC, or if I am using the remedy knowledge management, that is the classic one, we will use Helix ITSM knowledge management. But we have other data sources that are coming from external systems that we can configure from here. For the session today, I am going to synchronize with remedy knowledge management. That is the classic knowledge management that many of you are using. So the first step is to click on visible columns here. And I need to have visible the ID. Now you see the third column with the IDs. For remedy knowledge management, that is Helix ITSM knowledge management, I am going to use this ID. What I have to do is to copy, Control-C, and copy this value, because now what we are going to do is to generate a job, to run this job, and then doing the synchronization with my remedy knowledge management. So I copy from here, Control-C, and I need to go to the Agent Studio again. When we started this session, remember I was here in the records view, so I need to go to the records here, and then looking for record is like a table. We have tables with entries. Data, and one of the record is data connection job. You can write on the top data connection or something like that, and you will see the data connection job, this one. Click on them and then edit data. We are going to run this synchronization from remedy knowledge management. Then I click on new from here. Description, anything you want. RKM workshop, for example, today. Data source, important. This is like a code that we need to write here. For remedy knowledge management is RKM. For Helix knowledge management by come around is HKM. For business workflow is BWF. So depending of the one that you are going to synchronize, you need to put here the different code for the data source. All the information, if there are any other external synchronization, you need to read on the documentation for this code. And then the important one, connection ID. I paste the value I copied before. No blanks here. That is good, and that is good. So my connection ID, it is coming from the ID of the data source I copied. Important from this screen, modified since. This is a date. If I don't write anything here, that means that it is going to synchronize everything that I have in RKM. If I am doing several synchronizations, I can write here from the last month or from 2 months ago, whatever that is useful for us. But in case that we don't write here anything, that is my case, blank is going to synchronize everything. And then we click on execute now. That is now the blue screen, the blue button here. Execute now, and then click on save. Save successfully. You see this is in progress. That is the one I've just created, and it is in progress. So my synchronization with the knowledge articles are starting now. What I need to do a follow-up about what's going on and if all my articles are being synchronized or not, what I am going to do is to copy this ID. If you don't see the ID, click on visible columns and then click on the ID and check it. So you will have this column. Now I am going to copy this one. Copy. And S9, good. And then I am going to the other table or record, to the other record, that is data connection job step. So all the track we have here in data connection job step, I click there and edit data. You need to have visible, in this case, job ID. That is the one I am going to search. If you don't have this job ID, click on the visible columns, click on the job ID field, and click on that. And there, what I am going to do is Control V, paste the ID from the previous one, and here it is. This is all the synchronization article by article from Remedy Knowledge Management. You see the time for me here is 7:30 almost, so that is good. And you see the status is done. That is mean the synchronization is going well, successfully. In case that in any of the articles you have an issue, you will receive here an error. So you can open one of them if there is an error instead of done, and here you will have the error details about what's going on with this article. If you see there is one entry for every article. In this case, my doc ID is this one, but for every article is one entry here. And then the error details you can check from here. I am going to cancel, and here it is. So my synchronization with the knowledge articles is good. And then when I do questions about how to configure my VPN, how to do this, how to do that, I will receive the answer from the knowledge articles. So let's move to the next step. That is the agent. So we have the model, we have the knowledge articles, and then we are moving to the agents. If you remember, we have to do the configuration for 3 agents. Information source, I come back to this screen and click on agents. My first agent that I am going to configure is catalog request agent. So there are several of them. The first one is the out-of-the-box catalog request agent. That is our out-of-the-box. As it is recommended, we are not going to modify anything here. What we are going to do is a copy of this one, and then to create the copy and use the copy. That is our recommendation always. If you look at the list, you will see catalog request agent for Microsoft Teams. That means that we need to use this one in case that you are preparing and you are doing your integration with Microsoft Teams. The way of doing this is the same. Do a copy of this, and then use that in all your configuration. But in this case, I am not going to do this integration with Microsoft Teams, so I will use that. How to do a copy in the better way. So my recommendation, if you are in this tab, click with the mouse in the right button of your mouse, and then duplicate tab. Why are we doing this? To copy better, because in one screen, we are going to open the out of the box, and in the second screen, we are going to add the new agent and then copy and paste from one to the other. So from this one, I am opening catalog request agent, and we have some values. And in the other agent, click on add agent. And from here, you can Control C and then go here, Control V, copy and paste of everything. What I am going to do is to open the one that I have just configured, that is the mine, and I will show you what you need to copy and paste from one screen out of the box to the other one. So the first part that you need to copy and paste is the name, catalog request agent. Please put something, a prefix or something to identify that this is your custom agent. So I write here custom, that you can write the name of your company or anything, a prefix to define that it is your custom, your copy. So custom catalog request agent. Then the type. If you remember, we always have the blueprints that are the agent type, and we need to select from here, that is important, the catalog request agent. So open your menu from there and select catalog request agent. Then the description. You can copy from the out of the box, this one, and then paste. In my case, I want to identify everything with the custom, so I put the name custom, but it depends on you. Provider. Provider is the one that we have just configured, in my case, Azure OpenAI, and the first one, that is the one that we are using, BMC Helix GPT 4.1. So when we have this in the agent, everything configured, you need to click on Save and Nest. From this screen, what you have to do is go into the out-of-the-box one, select everything like that. Be careful because it's a little long. Control C to copy and go to the new one in the instructions and paste. So you need to copy and paste all the instructions. From here later, but this is later, you can do modifications, customization, you can write here. So to change some behavior, in this case, we are configuring everything out of the box. So copy and paste on the other screen. Once you have done this, then save and nest. And then we go to the tools. The tools are blank. That's good. We don't need to copy and paste anything because we are not using tools in this agent. That is good. And then click on save. Then we will have our first agent copy from here. In my case, custom catalog request agent. Before moving to the next agent, there is something I would like to highlight here that is that we need to do every time that you do a copy of your agents. So now this is custom catalog request agent. I am going to close this one. I am going to close this one. We come back to the records. Okay, and in the records, we select the agent. From the agent, if I have an alphabetical order, if you don't have it, you can search here on the search bar, and then select agent and edit data. As I said, this is like a table, a lot of records, and one of them is the one that we have just created, the catalog request agent. Here it is the same. Again, the entry for the one that is out of the box, the entry if we are using Microsoft Teams, and the entry that we have just created. Always, that is a general statement I usually do for all the agents because sometimes it is needed to do this. Always come here to the agent record, open the one that is out of the box, catalog request agent, and always check this configuration. Everything that you have here, Control C, copy, then cancel, open the one that is your custom catalog request agent, and paste here. In your case, you will have this blank or with a symbol, I mean with the here this symbol, but you need to put everything that you have on the other side. Always copy and paste. So this is paramount. We cannot do this configuration on the user interface. We always have to come here and to copy and paste from the configurations. For now, this is how we configure. Once this is pasted, please save this the custom catalog request agent. Save here. With this configuration, it is done for the first one, for the first agent. So we move to the second agent. Agent page, here it is. The second one is the live chat. Live chat agent. We are going to proceed in the same way, opening the live chat agent out of the box in one screen, opening a second screen, the add agent, and then we are going copy and paste, copy and paste. If you see here in my list, there is not an entry for Microsoft Teams for live chat. The reason is because it is not allowed for now. So from Microsoft Teams, you cannot use live chat. Live chat is only it's only valid from the digital workplace interface. That is the reason. But for the other configuration, if it's Microsoft Teams, you can do the same. The Employee Navigator, the catalog, or the supervisor. So if you have your both screens, one the live chat out of the box and the other add an agent that is blank, then you need to provide the following steps. So agent name, live chat agent, you copy from the out of the box and then paste here. I put the same prefix, custom. You write whatever is working for you. Type live chat agent, that is our agent. Description, whatever you want. I copy and paste from the out of the box and my prefix custom here. And then the provider, Azure OpenAI, BMC Helix, my model that is working. Then click on save and next. Instructions, there is blank, good. We don't have to copy and paste anything. We don't have to do that. Then save and next. That is tools, that is blank. Good, we don't have to copy and paste anything. That is good. We only need to click on save. Once you click on save, you will have this custom live chat agent. In this case, we are going to do the same. Why? Because this is the process you need to remember for any agent that you create. Go to the data editor agent and search for this agent and look for the configuration. Agent, I click on agent, edit data, live chat. I have only two entries, the out of the box and the mine, the customization. Click on the first one, that is the out of the box. In this case, configuration is blank, only with the curly brackets here. That's good. We don't have to copy and paste anything. If I open the customization, it is the same. So that is good. In this case, we don't have to do any copy and paste, but it is good that you always remind that it is something to check, to double check. So this is simpler, this agent, and it is done. Now we are moving to the next agent. We have the catalog, we have the live chat, and then we move to the supervisor. In this case, that is Employee Navigator Supervisor. Here it is. We have this one, that is the one out of the box, Employee Navigator Supervisor. Open this one in one screen. Open a second screen with add agent that is blank, and we are going to fill out. In this case, we do have Employee Navigator Supervisor for Microsoft Teams in case that you are doing this synchronization. So what we need to copy and paste? The same. That is the same process. Name, Employee Navigator Supervisor, and add your prefix, custom, whatever you want. Type, important, supervisor, only supervisor. This is my type here. add your description here. Employee Navigator Supervisor, whatever, my description, I wrote here the custom. And again, provider, Azure OpenAI, and my model BMC Helix GPT 4.1. When we have all of this, save and nest. Instructions. You need to copy all the instructions until the end. It's a long text here. Control-C, copy, go to the other that is blank and paste. And then save and nest. Now the tools. If you remember in the schema at the beginning, there are like 5 tools out of the box that we are going to use. So these are the 5 tools. Knowledge retriever tool. So you need to mark here to put the mark. Digital workplace profile search, the second one. I scroll down for a little, fallback tool. This is the third one. Then digital workplace event tool and digital workplace service health tool. I repeat the names, so because they are in different positions. Knowledge retriever tool. This is the first one. Digital workplace profile search. Scrolling down. Fallback tool. Digital workplace event tool. Digital workplace service health tool. When we have selected all these tools, we click on Save and Nest. Now, you know that we are doing the supervisor. So, like the supervisor has different sub-agents, which are the name of the sub-agents, the ones that we have just created. So we need to, in agent fleet, we need to select the custom catalog request agent because it's our custom agent we have just created, and custom live chat agent. So we are linking these custom agents with the supervisor custom one. Once we have this, that is done, click on Save again. And then what we will have when you click Save is this entry, Custom Employee Navigator Supervisor. So with this, we have our supervisor done. What do we need to check? As always, going to the data editor. Here, I am again in data editor agent here, and I am going to search by Employee Navigator Supervisor. So we have 3 entries. The one out of the box, the second for Microsoft Teams, in case that we are doing this, and the custom one, Custom Employee Navigator Supervisor. I am going to open the Employee Navigator Supervisor out of the box, as we did before. Going to Configuration, select everything, Control-C, copy, and then going to the custom one, you have this in blank, and Control-B to paste. So you paste here your new configuration and click on Save. With this, all our configuration about the agent, it is done. Now, the last part is to configure the skill. I go back to the agent page. And from here that we have the agents, we need to click on skills because we are going to configure the new skill that is linking the agents with the application. So my application will be Digital Workplace because it's Employee Navigator. We have a lot of skills here. And you will see in your list this one, Employee Navigator for Helix. That is the one that we are going to copy and paste and then use this one. In this case, I am going to open and tell you what you need to fill out. So open, add a skill. This is empty for you if you are adding your skill. And then the name is the same name, Employee Navigator for Helix. That is my skill. And I put the prefix custom, Custom Employee Navigator for Helix. Then you select your provider from here, Azure, OpenAI, BMC Helix GPT 4.1. User context is none, like by default, nothing to select there. Instruction type agent, because we are doing everything with agents. And then click on save. When you click on save, you will have this entry, custom employee navigator for Helix, with your model here. What else? Please select that one and go to the agent tab. In the agent tab, you need to scroll down, and what we are going to select is our custom employee navigator supervisor, the agent that we have just created. So what we are doing is to link the skill with the supervisor agent. Please don't forget that it's important, once you have this selected, scroll up and click on apply. Sometimes customers don't click on apply. Hey, Marta, this is not working. Yes, you need to click here. Don't forget, sometimes we only check here, then scroll up and click on apply. And then our skill is configured. If I go to the search settings, you need to select here. This is by default, but you need to select the data source that you are using. In this case, I did a synchronization with Helix Knowledge Management. In my case, I have other data source. So select here, depending on the name of your data source, to select here that is going to use our skill for Employee Navigator from the search settings. And with this, our skill is totally configured. What we need to do now is to integrate this skill in our digital workplace screen. So give me 1 second from the current slide. If you remember, this is the slide I showed you before. What we are going to do is this skill to put here in the number 1, like a chat, like the menu on the top, like the search bar, and in a button, all the different options. I will cover that. Good. So the first is the chat. We need to come back here. Not there. We need to come back to the Helix portal, and then we are going to go to the digital workplace. If you are an administrator in the digital workplace, you will see here in your profile the option of administration. That is where we are going to do all of these configurations in the administration. So click on there. And then going from the top to configuration. The first button that we are going to configure is the chat icon. So click on here, configuration again, and scroll down until chat. In the chat, we have technology, employee navigator. This is the one to select. And the second one is the skill. So this is the name, select from the menu, the name of your skill that you have created. In my case, custom employee navigator for Helix. Selecting that, click on save in your case, and then you will have the chat configured. So only with that, what we have been doing is, I go again to the digital workplace to show you. Only with this small configuration, we have this done. So from here, it is already configured employee navigator. Then the second one is the menu on the top. So for that, I need to go to a Studio first. From Studio, customize your workplace. You have here My Page, and you have here Search Views. Click on Search Views. We need to create a new view. From here, create a new view. What do we need to create there? That is mine. Already done. So the view, you can write here the name you want. I mean, I write here Employee Navigator for Helix, and this is what we are seeing here, Employee Navigator for Helix. If you write a different name, you will see here a different name. depending what you want to show. Then the search, view options. Okay, well, notes, the notes that you want to write here, that's good. And then the options, channels. When I use this search, I can use chat and search. I can use chat or I can use search. What is the meaning of that? Chat is for Helix GPT. If I am using the chat, it's because I am going to open Employee Navigator. If I am using the search, it's because I am going to open the classic search. As always, if we don't have Employee Navigator, this is my classic search. This is the same. Or I can use combination of them, chat and search, and then we'll open like 2 tabs from there. But I will put by default the chat, that is Employee Navigator. So by default, is the GPT, but later I will have another tab for the classic search. I will show you in a moment. And then we need to select again Helix GPT skill. So the one that I've selected is the custom Employee Navigator for Helix. That is the custom one that we have just created. Then search source and then save. With this, I will use this name, Employee Navigator for Helix, that is my search. I will use for the configurations that we continue doing. Okay, now that we have this search done, to include this in the menu, I go back here, and then I have to go to Navigation Manager. In the Navigation Manager, here on the left part of my screen, I have all my pages. That is good, but if I scroll down, you will see this part of search views. So click on search views and click on Employee Navigator for Helix. That is the search that we have just created. With this, it is included in the navigation builder at the end of my screen. If I want, I can drag and drop to put on the middle or the first one, whatever I want to organize my menu bar. So I can do from here, clicking and moving and drag and drop. With this step and save, click on save. With this step, what we have configured is in this top, this search. If I click here for a moment, we will do the testing later, but if I click here for a moment, as you remember, I configured chat and search. So I have both of them. By default is chat, that is Employee Navigator, but I have the option to go to the classic search and I can move from one to the other. That is depending on your configuration. So we have done 2 of them. Now we are going to do the search here in the search bar and in the bottom. I come back to the administrator panel, go back to the configuration menu and go into the studio. In this case, my homepage is this one, Apex Global Self-Service. That is the homepage I am using. So from here, I click on the homepage and click on edit. I have this bar, this search bar already configured in my Digital Workplace Studio. So I click there on the search bar. And then I have the properties on the left part of my screen. Scroll down, scroll down. You see the test block, welcome to Apex Global Self-Service, all you need in one portal. Scroll down. And then you find this, the search. In the search, you need to select the view. And what is the view? If I click here, this is my searches, the one that we have just created. So my search is called Employee Navigator for Helix. I select this one and then I click on save. If I click on save, then I will have the search bar. I will have my Employee Navigator. Here it is again. So in the search bar, you need to see this one, Employee Navigator for Helix. That is the one to select. And then we can create buttons. The buttons are in the content block. You can put the button here or here or here, wherever you want in your screen. And then you need to configure this button, label, the label that you want to show, chat with Employee Navigator. If you don't have the button, before that you can go add and you can add more buttons. I think we have until 4 buttons from this search bar. So chat with Employee Navigator. This is my label. Then you need to select the link application page from here. And page, what is the page? So I click here. I will see all my pages the same than in Navigation Manager. If I scroll down, I go to the search views and I click here an Employee Navigator for Helix. That is my search view I've just created. Select this one and click on Save. So with this, in one item here, I have created 2 entries for Employee Navigator, one in the search bar and the other in the button. With this, you only have to save and publish. Don't forget to publish. And then you will have this configured in the 4 points that I showed you at the beginning. Confirm, and here it is. So configuration, it is done. Then what we need is to test from here. This is my this is my website. I have the chat if I want to see in the right part of my screen, but it's the same if I click in Employee Navigator. It is the same if I click here in the search bar, or if it is the same if I click on the button. So, and now we are going to do the testing because everything is done, configuration is done. So we need to start to use that. How to configure VPN. This first use case is reading from my knowledge article. We just synchronized. So from here, I have my answer. If I have several knowledge articles, we receive a summary of all of them and the different data source to click there to go more in detail to the knowledge articles. But this part, it is working fine. And then the user want to request something, request software installation. Request software installation, for example. So this is something very generic. Software installation is very generic. The Employee Navigator is working for that, and they read in my catalog that there are like 3 entries for software installation, and it is saying, hey, which one do you want? Because I have 3 software installations. So from here, I can select the one I prefer. I have to say that if you have done configuration in prompts, in the previous releases in prompts, you always had to do an additional step of synchronization, your digital workplace catalog with the Employee Navigator. That is not needed anymore with agent-based. So all synchronizations are done automatically, so you can see everything in the catalog from here. The only limitation is that you cannot use SRM requests. So everything should be in the catalog, in digital workplace catalog. But if everything is in the catalog, you automatically will see all your requests. So in my case, there are 2 ways of doing this. One, when I have the 3 of them, I can click in one, and then, but this is the standard screen, and I can start to fill out everything from here because I have the link. The second option, if I want to interact with the Employee Navigator, is to write the exactly name that you want to use. So I am going to copy, Control-C, Control-V, and paste request software installation request. That is the one. So he's double checking. Would you like to walk through this request? Yes. So please, which software would you like to have installed? And then I have a menu. All of these questions are coming from my catalog. So depending on the service request I've selected, I will have like different questions for sure, but it's coming from the catalog. So I want to install Microsoft project. Please select a computer you want the software to be installed on. Here I have like 3 computers. This is because my user has a relationship with 3 assets. If you have a different assets, you will see different ones. So I select one asset related to my user. Could you please describe the reason? I need it to manage projects, whatever is the reason. Could you please let us know when you would like the software to be installed? Okay, in the 5 working days, it is good for me. After you answer all the questions from here, it's like, would you like to submit? You can always do some changes here, or if everything is good, you say, yes, I would like to submit. And then I will receive the ID. Here it is, my ID from my ticket, my request submitted. So this is the second use case, reading from the catalog. I didn't do any synchronization and it is working fine with all my catalog. That is very good. And now the third use case is like questions about my ID. Show my open request. For example, I will see this one, 3608. I am sure because it's the one I've just opened. So here it is, the first one. From here, I can add comments, I can cancel. If there is something pending my approval, I can approve with that. But imagine that I don't see, for my questions, I don't see any answer that is valid for me, and I want to connect with a live agent. So I can say connect to a live agent. This is transferring GPT to one person. If we have the live agent configuration done and we have people on the other side from help desk, they will help us with opening cases or answering our questions. So could you please provide a brief summary? I need help with VPN. And then we need to select the queue. This is in 25.4. In 26.1, you don't need to select the queue. The reason is because it's going directly to the one depending on your topic. In my case, I can select the queue for the live chat if I have several queues. And then the GPT is transferred to a live agent, to a person. So we can chat with the other person, doing whatever we need to do. And then when I want to finish and come back to the GPT, I write this and live chat. And then again, we are coming back to the GPT. So the transfer to a live agent has been canceled and you are now reconnected to GPT. From here, we can see information about a user. For example, show information about user set. That is one user of the system. So I will see the phone number, the name, the email, if it is there. So all the information, or I can do questions about a location, for example, a department there that is in my foundation data. If you are using in digital workplace, the service health, so service health, because this is an option the administrator can use, you can see about what's going on with your services. If there is performance issues, if it is available, if there is a disruption. And the last use case I am going to show you is a question about business workflow. So list of tasks to do. When you are using business workflow, sometimes you open a case there. Business workflow is for non-IT cases. Maybe you are speaking with human resource, you open a case with human resource, and they are asking you something. Hey, you need to do this, or you need to send me that, or whatever. So this is the list of tasks I have to do in my case. And I can check from there. In this case, I have one list of tasks to do that is address reviewing, checking, and from here, I can read what they need, business workflow, human resource, or whatever. You need to send this and this and this. I can add a comment, click attach, everything that is needed, and mark as completed. So it is integrated with business workflow for the list of tasks to do and everything that is pending. With all of this testing, I finished my presentation. I hope that clarifies everything, how to do this configuration, and at least you can start to check, to review, and start to test it in your environments. Good. So we continue here with the next slides. Sam?
Yes, I'm more than happy to go through this, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you for presenting today, and hopefully everyone's found that useful. And we will be sharing out the content today over the next couple of days. So just in summary, if you do need any additional help, you may already be working with the CSM or adoption specialist. We do have the community groups that we would encourage you to go and have a look at. We've got one that takes you to the upcoming calendar, which is the first link. And then there's also the workshop group, which is where we update with blog posts, and it's an opportunity for you to also ask questions. If questions get posted in there, we get alerted, and then someone will respond to you back in the community. Now, the reason we've put it in the community is purely so your questions may be also useful for other customers, and if we can resolve your question, hopefully it will help others as well. So those are the two recommendations. Some of you already, and I recognise some names, come to the webinar series that I run. We're running those in parallel to these workshops, so do look out for some of the roadmap sessions, which will give you an even better detail on some of these agents. Last week, we actually covered quite a lot on Employee Navigator, so if you did miss that one, that is on the webinar page, and again, I'll be sharing that out in the thank you email. You can go and look at the recording, which was done by our product managers. Unfortunately, we can't bring them to all of these sessions as well, and we also have some more sessions, including Insight Finder, which will be covered under dashboards. That's coming up mid-March. So do have a look at that page when the links go live. Next slide.
Yeah.
So we also work very closely with Gartner. Thank you to those that have been filling these in. I know we are getting responses back. These go directly to Gartner. It's not something that BMC Helix provide as a gift card, but we would love to get your feedback. And if you can have a few minutes to spare to actually fill in the survey. Again, there's the QR code if you've got time now. If not, we will be sharing this slide out. This survey is going to be open till mid-April. We'd love to get your feedback. And then finally, just going through education, which is the area I work in, customer success. For those that have been joining the other workshops, we've got some options. And if we can move to the next slide, Marta, just so I can go through the agent training. We've got WBT courses, which I will be sharing out a discount code of 15%. We've got Employee Navigator, Service Collaborator, Insight Finder, Ops Swarmer, and Service Catalog. So you will maybe have joined some of those sessions over these last couple of months. We do have a few more sessions coming up, but by the end of March, we would have done quite a few of the repeated sessions. And I know that we may be putting some in Spanish and we may be doing some in Portuguese. So if that is your preferred language, that will also go out on the workshop series as well. And if there is anything that you feel is missing or you need additional assistance, please reach out. I think probably the next slide is just showing where you can go to the catalogue. We'll just go very quickly. You can put any of the recommended training and type it into the filter. So this is just to show you what it looks like when you go into the website for education, and you can simply type it even into Google, BMC Helix Education, and it will pull up the page, type in the course that you're looking for, and it's pretty intuitive. But if you do have any questions on the education, I'm more than happy for you to reach out to me. Okay, I think, and that's just given you recommendations from our team. We'll be sharing those out, so I won't go into too much detail. I think that nicely brings us into the Q&A part of the session, which is to wrap up today. I know we've had a few questions that have come in, so thank you, team, for answering those and those that did ask the questions. just going to start unmuting everyone. Marta, was there any other
presentation with you? There are some links of documentation about general GPT, Agent Studio that we have configured today, but at the same time, specifically for Employee Navigator, that is all the configuration that we have been doing today that you will see more in detail if in case that they need to see something more in detail. That's all. And now, yes, it's time for the Q&A.